All right, folks, look, this whole Jeffrey Epstein email story surrounding Donald Trump just got even worse for Donald. If you can even believe it, it was already bad. It's gotten even worse. There were around 20,000 Epstein emails released yesterday, and since there were so many, only a few got some real media attention. But now, some emails that kind of flew under the radar are coming to the surface, and they are really damning for Donald Trump, completely exposing his lies surrounding Jeffrey Epstein. So look, I'm going to show you these emails, and I'm also going to show you some resurfaced footage of Jeffrey Epstein talking about Donald Trump in a deposition that has gone viral since the release of this story and more. But before I do any of that, make sure to subscribe to the channel down below, drop a like on the video, comment, let me know what you think about this story. Let me just say, folks, I currently have the flu. I have a really bad fever right now, so if I cough in the video or there's cuts so I can drink some water, I apologize for that, but I'm not doing too good, but this story is too important to not inform people. We can't let Donald Trump get away with any of this. So let's dive in here. I want to start with this NBC News article talking about the big moments in the emails, which of course I think everybody has to know about. Let's start with this one. Epstein disputes Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago account. Remember, Donald Trump said that he kicked Epstein out of Mar-a-Lago for being a creep. Epstein is saying in these emails, where he really doesn't have any reason to lie, saying that's completely false. Quote, Trump said he asked me to resign, never a member ever, Epstein wrote. Quote, and this is the big one, of course he knew about the girls as he asked Ghislaine to stop. This is Epstein saying that Donald Trump knew exactly what he was doing. In another email that was sent to Wolf, Epstein said a woman whose name was redacted worked at Mar-a-Lago. Trump knew of it and came to my house many times during that period. The testimony of the houseman, John Alassi, confirmed it. He never got a massage. In an email sent to Maxwell in 2011, Epstein said Trump spent hours with someone the committee says was a victim. I want you to realize that that dog that hasn't barked is Trump. Victim spent hours at my house with him. He has never once been mentioned. I've been thinking about that, Maxwell replied. Here's another one. Epstein criticizes Trump's dirty business practices. Epstein repeatedly ripped Trump's business practices in the emails and called him dirty. After attorney and former Obama White House counsel Kathy Rumler sent Epstein a link to a New York Times op-ed that referenced former Trump fixer Michael Cohen, Epstein responded, you see, I know how dirty Donald is. My guess is that non-lawyers, NY biz people have no idea what it means to have your fixer flip. He has no memory when he buys the house, he wrote in 2019. His biz model is putting his name on a real estate development and gets a fee for using his name. The hotel biz is just that. Here's another one. Epstein says Trump blames others for bad results. He said that he's worse in real life and up close. Epstein references Trump and prison. Mark Epstein, the brother of Jeffrey, said, what's your boy Donald up to now? Epstein responded, he's with Bannon now, apparently a reference to Steve Bannon, which of course it is. Mark Epstein suggested his brother ask if Russian President Vladimir Putin had compromising pictures of Trump. Quote, you and your boy Donnie could do a remake of the movie Get Hard, where Kevin Hart in the movie is preparing Will Ferrell for prison. And Epstein responded by saying, Donnie T. Epstein also denied that Bill Clinton ever went to the island and more. There are some pretty significant moments, but those are the big ones. But now, let's get into some of the new emails and the resurfaced footage that really put all of this into context. Let's start here, where Jeffrey Epstein was asked under oath if he had ever hung out with underage girls with Donald Trump. And just take a look at his response, because truly it is so damning.
Have you ever had a personal relationship with Donald Trump?
What do you mean by personal relationships?
Have you socialized with him?
Yes, sir.
Yes?
Yes, sir.
Have you ever socialized with Donald Trump in the presence of females under the age of 18?
Though I'd like to answer that question, at least today, I'm going to have to assert my 5th, 6th, and 14th Amendment rights, sir.
Wow. This was in 2010, a deposition that Epstein was sitting for in one of the many legal cases against him. And when you're asked, have you ever hung out with underage girls with the, then a private citizen, of course, Donald Trump, but who is now president of the United States, is crazy. I mean, that is insane. that this is the current state of American politics. I also came across this article from 2021 that hasn't gotten enough attention, which is, it's about Steve Bannon, his relationship to Jeffrey Epstein, and of course, Steve Bannon's involvement in Donald Trump's 2016 campaign. And the headline says, Steve Bannon was reportedly very worried that Jeffrey Epstein would reveal damning things about Trump during his first presidential run. And here's the story behind this. Michael Wolff, this is coming from Michael Wolff as well. Trump wasn't the only one worried about Epstein's potentially loose lips. Wolff claims Steve Bannon, in one of his books that was published a while ago, then the former president's chief of staff, repeatedly called up Epstein. Wolff even personally witnessed one of the calls that took place shortly before Epstein's arrest during a press visit. And here's the quote. It is damning. Quote from Steve Bannon. "You were the only person I was afraid of during the campaign." And then Epstein responded, "As well, you should have been." So based on everything, even just the emails we've gone over so far, we're about to get into more, just based on all of this stuff, it seems like it's kind of like an open secret in the Republican Party that Donald Trump was much closer with Epstein than previously known. Kind of seems like they all know this, and they all know that perhaps Donald Trump has done something wrong in connection with Epstein, and they've just like tried to keep it on the down low and pretend it doesn't exist, but it very much does exist. Now, I do want to go over the main emails that we saw today. Of course, it's this one. I want you to realize the dog that hasn't barked is Trump. He spent hours at my house. Here's this one. Trump said he asked me to resign. We've seen some of these already. Of course, he knew about the girls, which is an insane quote. And then, of course, Michael Wolff talking to Jeffrey Epstein about how he could get back at Donald Trump, a little bit of blackmail in this email, which is being referenced. But here's more that just haven't gotten the attention it deserves. Here's an email chain with someone named Faith Cates. She said on November 23rd, 2017 at 8 in the morning, "Hope today is fun for you." Epstein said, Epstein said, "Hope today is fun for you." She said, "Fun, when are you back in New York City?" He said, "All next week." She said, "Okay, Dylan will want to see you. I always want to see you. Where are you having Thanksgiving?" Epstein said, "Eva. That means Glenn. Check out his red hair. Berry colors for holiday," Epstein said. I don't know what they're talking about here, but here's the important part. He's such a snooze. Who else is down there? And Epstein said in 2017, David Fizzle, Hansen, and Trump. So this implies that Donald Trump had Thanksgiving with Jeffrey Epstein in 2017, which is damning because Donald Trump's entire claim is that he cut Epstein off in the early 2000s. And now emails from Epstein himself is saying he spent Thanksgiving with Donald Trump in 2017. And it gets worse. Epstein also, in another email in 2017 with Larry Summers, who of course has close connections to Donald Trump, Epstein said, "I've met some very bad people, none as bad as Trump, not one decent cell in his body. So yes, dangerous." Here's another one. In 2016, after Donald Trump won the election in November, on November 13th, Jeffrey Epstein was asked by Linda Stone, "Are you still in Paris?" And Epstein responded by saying, "Trump Tower." Again, 2016. So Trump's claim of their relationship ending in the early 2000s is completely debunked by Epstein's own words in these emails. And again, I think it's important to point out that Epstein has no reason to lie in these emails. It's not like he's doing this to protect himself in a criminal case. It's not like he's doing this to help Donald Trump politically. These are private emails that Epstein was never expecting to get out, and yet he's incriminating Donald Trump here. Here's another one. On September 20th, 2017, Epstein wrote, "I'm certain you understand. I'm sure you'll have a great new year. No need to respond." This anonymous person said, "Only for you. Trump is on the phone today. It is possible any minute that all parties will be on one table in New York, including my dear old man, to put an end to this," which I'm not sure what they're trying to put an end to. "The book worked," said Epstein. This anonymous person said, "Thanks, Jeff. I'm praying." And then Epstein said, "Only you, please," which again, I have no idea. We don't know the full context behind this stuff, obviously, but the story doesn't end there. In conjunction with what's come out in the past 24 hours, we also learned that, of course, with Adelita Grijalva, Representative Adelita Grijalva getting sworn in, Donald Trump, she was the 218th signature on the discharge petition. Donald Trump was calling up Republicans who also signed on, demanding that they take their name off of the list. Donald Trump personally called Lauren Boebert, MAGA representative, on the phone and asked that she do it, and she said no. So clearly there is a pressure campaign from the Attorney General, from members of the DOJ, from Donald Trump himself to get Republicans to cover up the story even more. And then this is how the day ended yesterday with Donald Trump in the Oval Office signing the government shutdown bill. He was asked questions about Epstein, and this is how he responded.
Mr. President, can you respond to these Epstein emails that were released today?
Well done, Mr. President. Great job.
Yep, look at that.
Mr. President,
I mean, just absolutely disgusting. So we get all these Epstein emails where Epstein is saying that Donald Trump knew about the girls, and when he's asked about it, he doesn't respond to these journalists, and then all of these Republicans start shaking his hand, saying, "Good job, Donnie," when we have just learned so much about how Donald Trump enabled Epstein's behavior. And the only response he issued was calling it another hoax. The Epstein hoax. He continues to claim it's a hoax when in reality, all of these victims have come out talking about Epstein. Victims have come out talking about Trump. And he continues to pretend that it's a fake story. It's so insane. But anyway, despite me having the flu, I just wanted to talk to you guys about this story because I didn't get a chance to cover it yesterday. I was so sick. But regardless of all that, I'm glad I got to talk to you folks a little bit about it. We'll see how many videos I can get out, but I might just prioritize my rest from now unless there's a big story. But thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe down below. It goes an incredibly long way. Drop a like on the video, comment, let me know what you think about this story. And as I always say, I greatly appreciate you, and I hope you have an amazing rest of your day.